after a few weeks off fishing, it was good to be back out. In this video I'll be chasing flatties. I'm first off going to run through, I guess, a lure box that I'll put together before heading out in the session the day before. So I went through my tackle box and picked out some of the lures I've been using. Some of them needed a few repairs or needed to have a few trebles changed here and there. The old Zip Bait Riggy 70 was a staple last year, so that one goes straight in. When I was going through my tackle box, I found the old Slim Twitcher. This is an Atomic Slim Twitcher. I actually didn't use this for a couple of years now, but it was a really cool lure, and it's got a shallow bib on it as well, so good on those more weedy days or those real shallow areas as well. I bought this to chase a chopper tailor, and I think I'll try and use it a bit more in my upcoming videos because it's a cracker of a lure. It's got a nice rattle to it as well. The next lure I found in a bargain bin, but it's actually a fairly expensive lure. It's a tailor-made timber lure, so these are made from wood. I used to use a lot of tailor-made lures when I was chasing bass, and they're a lot of fun to work with. Don't know how effective it will be, but I thought I'd chuck it in the box for a bit of fun. Then I've got the Cums'n Junior, which is another classic. That's in 50mm. And then some of the micro jigs. This jig para has seen better days. It's got a lot of the paint chipped off and whatnot, but it'll still flutter down and should still work okay. I actually bought another one here in a different colour, and that's what it looks like when the paint works actually good. I actually lost this literally in the second cast. It got bitten off, which is a pain in the ass because it was a brand new one. I've also got the 5 gram. You've got the Zip Bait Raphael, which I used quite a bit last year as well. You can see the trebles all busted up at the back here, so I'll repair that one and take that off before going out. I'll probably put on, somewhere like a size 10 hook at the back. And I've got a Savage Gear blade. This is a 1/4, I think it is, or it's a, sort of not the smallest one, the one up. They don't make these anymore, but you can find them in bargain bins for about $2. They're really good. Here I've got the ZX blade. I've got this one in 30mm, and you can see I've got the whiting sort of upgrade hooks on here. They're probably a little bit small for the flathead, but they'll still work. And then I've got the 40mm version. I think this one actually might have been a bit bigger. It's the larger version anyway, so you get a lot further casts. These are usually a lot better for flathead, but not so much your brim and whatnot. Here you can see I've lost one of the assist hooks as well. Then I went through the bargain bin and found a few packs of soft plastics as well. So these minnows look really good. I think they were called Gold Boy. And then I got a few nice flatties on this Streaky Curls the other day as well. I'm going to be walking the flat, so I'm just going to have a small tackle bag, like a shoulder bag. So I'm just going to have my little box, a braid and pliers, scissors in one. I'll probably chuck the soft plastics into one bag, little tape measure and my leader, just in case I get busted off. So I've just gone with 10 £. Anything from sort of 6 to 10 is pretty good for flathead, or this bar tail style anyway. It was a wrong sort of tide. It was a turn of the tide, which is never the best tide for chasing flathead, but you're still going to catch them, particularly on the high as well. You can sort of target the brush areas here. I think the difference is when it's a high tide, you sort of almost have to land the lure on top of its head to get a bite, whereas they're more actively feeding in the sort of like mid-rising or mid-lower tide. Having said that, sometimes you still have a hot session on the high tide or turn of the tide. Here you can see that there's a really slight breeze which is pushing the water towards the brush as well, which is always what I like to see when I'm sort of walking along these lines. So I've just got the Zip Bait Cums'n Junior on here, casting along the brush and just working it back slowly with a few flicks. And this wasn't caught in a few casts. I've been walking down here for probably about 10-15 minutes. So I'm just taking my time. I'm using a 8'6" TD Hyper rod, so it can be a little bit of a pain when you go to land fish. Here I can't really walk back to the bank because of the high tide and I'm up against the brush, so I'm going to have to net the fish, but because the rod's so long I just really got to make sure the fish is tuckered out. So I've just got a wading net which is hooked up to my lure bag. Good start to the morning. I'm going to make a decent recipe at the end of this video, so I bled these ones and I've got a cooler backpack that I'm wearing which I'm just going to chuck it straight into while I'm walking the flats. I've just chucked on the riggy. It was a decent one too. So painful. The water was pretty cold still, so I wasn't too fussed about sticking pretty close to the shore, but I thought I'd just stick to the plan and keep working through. I did spook a few fish, probably about 10-15 metres out as well, so it was a good sign to see that there was fish around this time of year as well. I'm hoping after a few more hotter days it will really fire up as well. That one there, the lure pretty much landed on its head. Not a monster, but another decent one for a feed. Would have loved to landed that one that stole the drag off my reel, but it's good to get a couple on the board on the first outing. So I'm just going to run through a delicious flathead recipe. It's a flathead po' boy. The key to a good po' boy is the sauce. So here I've got some mayonnaise, Dijon mustard. I've diced up some pickle. I'm going to put in some fresh lemon juice, a little bit of Cajun seasoning, a bit of chili powder, salt, pepper, hot sauce if you're liking. Again, depending on how much you like spice, add in more or less. And then I almost forgot the secret ingredient. Worcestershire sauce, or however you say it. So give it a little mix, have a taste, add and adjust. So for my flatty fillets, I'm just seasoning them in some garlic powder, chili powder, salt and pepper. And I'll add some more seasoning to the breading. So for the egg mix, it's just egg and milk. Give it a little whisk. And rather than just using flour and panko crumbs, I'm going to use polenta and a little bit of all-purpose flour. So probably 4 parts polenta, 1 part flour. Then I'll add in a crap load of Cajun seasoning here. Salt and pepper and some more chili powder. And dunk in the egg wash. And give a good coating of the polenta. I'll then let that sit for a few minutes while I get the oil hot. So I'm just using some sunflower oil. Use the back of the wooden spoon to see how hot the oil is. Chuck in the fillets. 1 minute each side's fine. Just keep moving them around so they don't burn. So it was about 1 minute each side, maybe a little bit longer. Once they looked crunchy, I took them out and put them on a wire rack. I won't let these cool down too long because it's really nice and sandwich when they're piping hot. So then I get a little bit of my French bread, get that remoulade sauce, and go in heavy, top and bottom. There's going to be a lot of fish in here, so don't hold back on the sauce. Then a bit of chopped lettuce, thinly sliced tomato. This is an American inspired sandwich, so we're going to go real heavy on the fish. Just keep on stacking it up. Hot and crispy fish as well. Make sure it's hot. I'll then get a little bit of lemon juice, give it a squeeze. Pile on a little bit more of that sauce. And if you're a spice freak like me, a bit more hot sauce as well. Then the next step is going to be able to see if I can actually close it. This was so good. I needed a nap afterwards. I was that stuffed. That sauce was next level though. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comment section.